Hi everyone.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Dale, and welcome to It's So Universal.
Everything, love over everything.
And you keep hurting me, and you just keep doing it, and then you turn around and say you're sorry, and then you do it again.
People use sex to make you like a, you're lame. So you shouldn't do that.
Oh, sure. It's right. When it's my person.
Before we giving up secrets about ourselves, don't do that.
Today's topic is on the latest gossip, the slap.
The slap, exactly.
The Oscar slap.
Definitely, and mainly about protection. Protection for women, and
It's
how well are you protected?
It's titled, How Well Are You Protected?
Yes.
You know.
So, I'll just give my opinion and my thoughts about the situation. I feel as if, I'm Team Will, honestly, only because I feel like I saw a man who was protecting his spouse.
Right.
Can we debate about how he should have did it and all that other stuff? I mean, to me, that's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant because you cannot order or orchestrate the way people's reactions to things are. So we may think one thing, but how someone reacts to a certain thing is really them, how they handle it.
I feel like with that, I feel like I feel like there's always a better way to do something. And if you're led by your emotions are in control of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best to be calm and think about your actions, because every action have a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And the world saw this slap. I am also Team Will, because I think that black men do not stand up for their spouses enough in this day and time.
Right.
And I'm not talking about all black men, because there are some, but we don't see it enough. And
Right.
so I'll just say that. But I do feel like, there is always, just because of who he is,
Yeah.
we always want to show the best in,
Yeah.
a person. We want to see the best side of them at all time. However, he humiliated his wife in public.
So he will handle
The
it
consequences
in public.
you have is it was was done in public.
Public.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I think that's true. I think the question is, what as a woman, we both been wives, so we know, what we would want for our spouses and our families as a former wife. Okay, I will say it like this.
mm-hmm.
I probably would have maybe tried to intervene, only because I have been placed in that position before, and I had to try to calm
the situation.
the situation down, and that's not always doable. Sometimes
Right.
you can't do that, even as the spouse. I mean, you might want to, but when someone's being controlled by their emotions, and and men are
often
controlled by their emotions, regardless to the fact that they want to say we are the emotional ones. Really, they really are. They are so emotional.
I don't think all men are led by their emotions. I think some men are, but I also feel like if a man is in the spirit, if he's knows his position, he don't have some things. And I know that Will knew his position. That's why he didn't give a damn.
Right.
He wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. He's already done all his work. He did, he was receiving the Oscar.
Right, exactly.
He did what you're either going to love him or hate him.
Right.
And if you got to this point and then want to decide, shame on you. But,
absolutely.
No,
that's true too.
I just feel like he made that decision publicly. It was because what Chris said was public.
Yeah.
And he's always going after Jada.
Yeah.
And
at that time, I feel like he just was like, enough is
enough. You don't never know what a person is going through and what their breaking point is.
Right.
And I just feel like at this point, when he went up and slapped him, I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious because he said, like the world didn't just see it. He said, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me.
It was funny, and I think that's why some people thought it was a part of the show. Like they thought it was a part of the act.
Even if it was,
It was hilarious,
job.
right?
it was
It
hilarious.
was really funny. It was, but I just think that I feel like Will had a human response.
He had a human response.
And he's not a robot. He's a grown man who I mean, regardless of the fact that he's celebrity or whatever, the point is that he had just a response that some men might have, or women, you know, when it comes to feeling as if their spouse is being disrespected. At some point, you know, enough is enough, you know, with the whole thing, making her the butt of the joke. And then she's got to be in a room full of people that's laughing at her.
At her, not with her.
Not with her, because she
No.
wasn't laughing.
Right.
And I think, like, some people were saying, like, well, he laughed first. I think he laughed first. Now, this
To
is
try
my-
to comment.
to try to comment, but this is my own interpretation. But I think also, I think he laughed because he may have thought the joke was funny. And I think had she had thought the joke was funny too, he wouldn't have done it. I think he saw his wife's face and saw the fact that to her it was not funny.
It was hurtful.
It was hurtful. And that's what made him react.
And that's what made him react.
Yeah.
If you saw your spouse hurting,
Yeah.
man or female, your natural reaction is to defend them,
Right.
to jump to their defense.
Right.
You don't know what a person is going through. You don't know what's going on in their household.
Yeah.
So to say this man was wrong or whatever, you don't know what they reached a breaking point
Right.
where
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, that was
I've
it.
had enough.
Yeah. That's
And
what I
to
think.
see the hurt in his wife's face,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that there is hope. There is someone out there that will love you and support you and have your back and could defend your honor. Because I've been in my marriage and I was not.
You didn't feel protected.
I didn't feel protected in any kind of way. You know,
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
there was never someone jumping to my defense, whether they heard or witnessed. You just sat there like it was okay.
okay, right, and
You know,
I think that oftentimes too. So this is, to me, is a big topic because we're talking about protection, you know, women, protection for women and black women in general, and we don't get to see a lot of that kind of defense again for us out in publicly that way. It's crazy because been talking to different people here and there and clients in the shop this week about the subject, and everyone's had their own takes on it. So I happened to be talking to one of my clients who's an older woman. She's in her 70s. And so she asked me what my opinion was, and I gave her my opinion. And she said to me, this spoke volumes to me. She said, so she listened to what my opinion was. And she just listened to me first, and then I asked her what she thought. And she said, in her opinion, she said, I feel like this. I've never had anyone protect me like that.
I never had any. Exactly.
Now, this woman is over 70.
Yes.
So what is that saying about our community and the men in our community when it comes to us and protection for us?
We hear so much negative talk concerning black women. We don't hear, and it's time. It is changing now. And I do believe that when you're surrounded, it's about your surrounding, the people you surround yourself with. I do believe that has a big part of it too, because you don't know, when you're around different people,
Yeah.
you are subject to different behaviors.
Right.
But my experience, I've never had someone defend me or stand up for my honor, and I've been humiliated in front of my ex-husband and degraded, and and I never felt a sense of protection to where he never moved. It never moved him. It never bothered him enough to have an opinion or even to comfort me,
Right.
or to make me feel like, or even just to have a conversation about what had just happened.
Right.
So it's just left for a woman to have to deal with it and be in those emotions.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many broken women
Right.
out
Right.
here.
Here. Yes.
You know, that need to be healed, that need healed, and need to know that it's not their fault.
Right.
You know, because
Yeah.
if they don't, that's why they do all, you know, a lot of things to themselves. They blame themselves. And
Yeah.
that's why I encourage women to forgive yourself, not just women, but men too. 'Cause sometimes men have been in
Yeah.
positions like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
You know, and to no fault of their own, they didn't have anyone to stand up for them
For them.
other than themselves. And
Right.
you know, then there's confrontation. You don't want to have confrontation every time you come around someone.
Right. Absolutely
You
not.
know, but just
Yeah.
to have someone to defend you,
Yeah.
you know, that speaks big.
It does. It speaks volumes, and
Mhm.
it's just a fact that unfortunately we hear so much about black women and how, you know, I've been hearing this terminology, or this been going around for a while, that black women are masculine. We're too masculine, or
Or
we're in our,
independent.
yeah, or in our masculine energy, or whatever the case may be. Well, the fact of the matter is that we really have had no other choice but to be strong women, independent women. It's not something that I feel like it's not something that we necessarily want to be. It's just we have kind of been thrust into forward
That position.
in that position as
To be it all.
to be the leader.
To be
when we
yeah.
are not supposed to be the
Yeah.
leader, you know, and so therefore that we have to carry that armor. It's like an armor that we must carry around, and it's difficult if you've been carrying that armor around for so long, for so many years. It's hard to let it slip, because it's hard to trust that someone will allow you to let your armor down and your guard
and
down
be yourself.
and be yourself, and they will protect you regardless to whatever is the case. And so, yeah, my thoughts are
But can you just imagine? I just thought about that when you said carrying armor around for so long, because when I took that literal, you know, armor is heavy. You think about how heavy you carried around that armor for protection for so long, when we are naturally we are all made in God's image. We're not supposed to carry that. We're supposed to give it to God and let Him carry it. But it's easier said than done.
yeah,
We give it to Him and then we'll take it back. We don't
Right,
trust Him
right.
enough. It's almost like people don't trust Him enough that He's a man of His word, and He got it.
right.
You know, He got it. This battle is not ours. It's His. He's already won it. We just have to walk in it, walk through it.
Yeah,
You know. And that armor is heavy, and if you carry into that rounds for so long, it becomes a burden, and it takes your energy, it drains your energy.
right,
For one, and you want to stay lifted up.
right,
You can't be lifted up carrying extra weight.
right.
And that's what it is. You just got to release it, that extra weight, and let it go, and be free.
Yeah,
Be
definitely.
be free for who you
Who
are.
you are, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and yeah, but it is true when you said that it is easier said than done, because we're human beings. Let's make sure we all
We're
understand
spiritual
that.
beings having a human experience.
Yes. So at the end of the day, it's like our responses. You know, some of the things we do because that's what we know to do, and whether it's out of protecting ourselves. In his case, he was protecting his wife, and to me, I feel like no one is always going to be. No one is going to be always thinking 3 steps ahead, or no one's going to be thinking like what the consequences are of my actions in that very moment, because you're having an emotional human response.
Experience.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you know, we can take it and say, for me, I'm like, you know, when it comes to him and that situation, taking it back to Will and Jada, my thing is that I feel this way. I feel like we don't have a right to judge, period.
No, absolutely
We
not.
don't have a place to stand in judgment of him and his defense of his wife and their marriage and their family, period.
Right. Because at the end of the day, at the end of that night, had he not said anything, that would have been an awkward night.
Yeah.
An awkward ride home.
Definitely.
You know,
Yeah, and how would she have been feeling had her
Her
husband,
husband
laughing and the whole room of people laughing
at her.
at her expense? Yeah, and her fact that she has this condition, alopecia.
Even if Chris Rock, they said if he didn't know that he had the condition, even if he didn't know that she had the condition, there's a certain limit. Everybody has boundaries.
Right.
You should know where the boundary is.
Right.
And if someone who has always been known about her beauty and everything, this, that, you kind of, there's things that she's talked about it,
She's talked about it.
but there's things that you should know that are sensitive and not, there's lines that you should not cross.
Yeah.
Because everybody, at the end of the day, everybody has feelings.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know? And
Absolutely.
if it's not, if you're going to say something that's not edifying someone, don't say it.
Don't say it. Yeah.
Don't
exactly.
say it.
Jokes or no.
If you have to ask
Period.
yourself, if I'm going too far with the joke, then you're going too
You're
far.
going too far. Yeah.
You know?
If after the thing comes out of your mouth and you're like, ooh, I shouldn't have went there. Because I feel like that might have been what he thought in his head. Like maybe I shouldn't have went there. Then you apologize. Then you correct it. That way
Yeah.
someone else will have to.
Don't
correct
have
you.
to correct you.
Period.
But otherwise, you come at his wife. It's a natural reaction for him to come at you.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, it is. And I was gonna say when it comes to black women in our hair, that's like really to be honest.
First of all,
just
I am not my hair.
exactly.
And, why you this? It's what's under the scalp.
Right. Exactly.
It's what's in your heart.
Exactly.
Everything else doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But the thing of it is that for us is it can be it can be a touchy topic. Let me put it like that. When it comes to women in their hair, I know because that's what I do. So when it comes to women in their hair, it can be a very touchy situation, and depending on what's going on. I have had women sit in my chair with alopecia, so I know how that feels. I know how they are feeling and what that situation looks like. And believe me, it is not easy to have to struggle with not being able to grow hair on top of your head. It is alopecia. Yes, it is an autoimmune disease. However, you can cause alopecia through traction, which means like tension on your hair, pulling, tight braids, tight ponytails. That can cause your hair to have alopecia. Alopecia is a disease that it's a possibility that your hair will never grow back. So if you're talking about that kind of thing, it's a situation where it's very sensitive. It grates on your self-esteem.
Yes, it does. And as a woman, we want to feel good when we walk in the room. And to feel that someone is talking about our appearance in a negative way, even the best of us have days where you don't feel yourself. And for her coming out to the Oscars with her hair shaved, the first time that she came out to a big event like this is something that she's having to learn to. It's a new her. It's a new stage in her life that she's having to adjust to emotionally, and it's not easy. It's not easy, and to poke fun at it.
It's insensitive.
It's very insensitive.
It's very insensitive.
It's mean.
It is. It's very
It's mean.
Yeah, she's walking the red carpets for the first time with her head shaved. I mean, come on. Like that's
bold. That takes a lot.
That's
that takes a
real
lot. And for you to sit and make fun of it, and that's mean. That's really mean.
It's mean spirited, and and she's beautiful. She's rocking that bald head, and I'm like, girl, go for it. And I know that she, not just her, but it's been several women that have this issue, they are inspirations to women who are dealing
with it and going through
with it, and they have been inspired to do the same as she has.
And what if the condition had been cancer?
Right.
You know, some things you just cannot poke fun at. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
Mm-mm. Some things are off limit, and for us, when it comes to for us, for Black women, when it comes to our hair, I just feel like, you know, it's just, like I said, I see it all the time. It's a sensitive subject.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really can be. I've had people sit in not just with alopecia, women whose hair has broken off and they don't know what to do. They're crying in my chair that they may have to cut their hair, or that, you know, it's sensitive.
And some people define themselves by their hair.
Mm-hmm.
Their hair is their crown of glory.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that. It's fragile.
Yeah.
It's fragile.
Yeah.
But once you come when you get there will get to a point, and the knowing
Yeah.
that you'll know that it doesn't define who you are.
Right. Absolutely.
It doesn't define who you are. It makes you feel good,
Yeah.
but you know you can change it.
Right. Right.
Anytime
Yes.
you have the power to do that.
Yeah.
But
you have to get there.
you have
That
to
takes
get there. It's a journey to
yeah,
get there,
that takes
because
a-
everybody is not there. There. That's why I said when you come
Yeah.
into the knowing,
Yeah.
you'll know that you're not defined by your hair. You're not defined by your clothes.
Right.
You're not defined by any of the material listic thing on the outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
What defines you is your heart.
Right. Right.
Well, how much is it? Do you love?
Mm-hmm.
Do you love? Do you really have love?
Yeah, and I think that I believe that that's kind of where her journey, Jada Pinkett, has taken her to be able to have the confidence to shave her head, realizing that first of all, she's in Hollywood and
She's
in movies, so
yes.
that's the ultimate place where you are defined about how
By your
you look
appearance.
and your appearance.
Yes.
That you get jobs that way, you lose jobs that way.
Exactly.
It is, and for women, that's a huge thing. And
For
so,
women, especially women who are acting and in Hollywood.
yes, exactly. So, I mean, being that, you know, that is a part of your industry, that is a part of your career, is your appearance. It would have to take her a whole journey to get to the place where she feels comfortable to do what she needed to do for herself, and still to walk outside and rock her bald head beautifully with confidence. So she had to get to that place, and I feel like that's why I feel like probably she's helped some women get to that place too, where it's like, okay, it's not about that. It's not about the outward appearance. It's about what's on the inside.
And if she has it, I'm sure she will.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
Get to that point where she can say she'll be able to help somebody. Because
Yeah.
I heard her doing a little chronicle about it,
Yeah.
and she was talking about her first bald spot had came in. And it's sensitive.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of courage to be able to do that and share that with the world.
A lot.
And so I know that someone else is affected by it.
Yeah.
She's not the only one. I know that how she's doing and how she's come out through this, she's gonna make someone else
Oh yeah.
help someone else.
Help someone
Millions
else.
of people
Yeah.
get through
Yeah.
it.
Lots of people, and I think it's a great thing. I was happened to be flipping through, I think it was TikTok the other day, and I saw a whole group of women bald headed, and they have a whole group. They all have alopecia on. They was on the camera talking, and they have their own little group. They're confident Black women, and they don't really care. They're rocking their bald heads and they're moving along with life. So yeah, it's a situation where it's like it takes a minute to get to that level, because unfortunately for women in general, Black or white, we are the outward is always, we're always going to be depicted a certain way.
Defined by our outward
Yes,
appearance.
exactly. I mean, magazines, movies. I mean, there is a certain look
That's expected.
that's expected and supposedly accepted in society, and that's why women struggle so much with our appearance. Even if it's not just hair, it's gaining weight, it's, acne, it's lots of
always
stuff.
something.
It's always something.
It's always something.
Your boobs aren't big enough. Your butt's not big enough. I mean, it's like
Your butt's too big. Your
Yeah,
boobs are too small.
Yeah,
too big or too big.
Yeah,
Your boobs are too big.
it's
Something.
crazy.
So we have to realize that that's not who we are.
No, that's not who we are. We're not. We are just, as we said before, we are spiritual beings, and this is our human form. This is the shell that our spirits lie in. So honestly, when we leave and make our transition, this goes back to the dust from where it came from. So it doesn't really matter.
What matters is how bright your light is shining within.
Yes.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
That's what matters. How connected are you to your relationship with the source?
Right.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Your relationship with the Most High. That's what matters. Your light is within. How bright is it shine? How much love is in there?
Right.
That's what's matters. That's what's most important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So, yeah, if we running back as far as the protection piece of the situation is concerned, and we have to understand too that protection isn't always just a physical
It's
thing.
physical. It's not always physical.
It's not always physical. So I want you to protect me physically if I'm in harm. True. I want you to protect me emotionally. If you're with me, if you're my husband or you're my man or whatever, I want you to be protecting my emotions as well.
Mm-hmm.
So mentally, I want you to protect me in that way too. It's not just about if you see me in physical harm or physical danger.
Yeah, danger.
Of course, that should be your natural reaction. But if you see someone hurting my feelings, I want you to stand up for me.
Protect me there also.
Exactly.
Because, and then the natural thing to do is protect what we love. You protect what you love. That's anybody on any level, whether it be your significant husband, your significant other, your children. Because I know if you see your children in danger or somebody hurting or bullying or saying something negative to your child, you're gonna protect. It's the natural instinct is to protect the child too. So I feel like what Will did, he was protecting his covenant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his wife,
Yeah.
his children, his family.
Yeah.
And because all of that, if she's not well, if she's hurt, everybody in that household is hurt. They're all hurting.
Right.
So and he protected that. In that moment, he protected it. And I'm sure afterwards, he probably felt like there was something else he could have done.
Yeah.
But, I kudos for him, and I'm not saying that that's the violence is the answer. No, because I do know that there is a better thing there's a better way to handle things.
Yeah.
But I feel like in that moment, him protecting his wife, that's what was needed in that moment.
Yeah. And I think that it could.
He sent the message.
Right,
He sent the message. I
Yeah.
bet he won't talk about his wife no more.
Got that. 10-4, right? Did you hear that? I'm just saying. But I think that
none of them would talk about his wife no more.
I think that's right. I don't think anybody.
He made an impact
Exactly.
on his face. I'm sorry.
Now everybody leave his wife alone. How about that?
Leave him alone.
Leave her alone so she can she's doing her, she talks about her healing. She's healing in the process of doing lots of healing. And if you listen to her and to him, you'll see kind of they're open their family is open, meaning
Open spirit.
they're pretty transparent people. And you just listen to what they're saying and you'll know that her journey she's on a journey. So at the end of the day, my thing is this: reactions are what they are, and again, human reactions. And I feel like his movements in that moment was pure instinct, like Papa Bear protecting, his family. And that was pure instinct, and he moved on his instinct at that moment. And I don't judge him for that. And I don't fault him for anything. Could he have done something different? Yes. But think about it. When people say that, because so many people saying that, oh, he could have did something different. He should have did this. He should have did that. But what would you have done?
If it was your wife
Yeah.
that was being humiliated and degraded, what would you do if it was your wife or your husband? What would you do? Would you want your husband to stand up for you?
Right.
Would you stand up for your wife?
Right.
Would you stand up for your child?
Right.
Would you stand up for your sister? Would you stand up for your brother? Some
Right.
people have no love, and it's just like whatever you say to the next person, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Well, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
'Cause, you know, especially if you love something. No, God made us all, and He loves us all, and He wants us all to feel the love that He has for us through one another. And if you can't demonstrate that by doing what's right,
Right. Yeah.
how much love do you really have?
Exactly. Exactly. And the thing of it is that, you know, people are, you know, I hear, I've just been, since it's been so the topic for a week, you hear so much on internet and on social media about how this, that, and the third, and their personal life. And so I'm like, frankly, their personal life is their personal life, meaning it's their
I don't care to
business.
know their personal life.
Yeah, it's
their personal
business.
life.
And we don't have it. However, she and her, however the two of them conduct their marriage and their life together is truly their business. However, people want to say, well, they bring it out, they this, that, and the third. So what? At the end of the day, so what? So I mean,
at the end of the day, they have the right to choose.
Exactly.
It's their choice.
It's their choice.
Whatever they do behind closed doors is their choice.
It's their choice.
Who am I to judge what they do?
Exactly. That's the thing.
Who are you to judge what they do? That's their personal
Personal
thing.
business.
It's their business.
Exactly. And that's something that we as a society have to start thinking, I think, more about is, because I was talking to someone about it, and you know, I was saying, you know, I'm not a judgmental person, so I don't judge anything. It is what it is. And that person said, well, I am a judgmental person. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't even judge you for being a judgmental person.
Mm-hmm.
But as a society, we need to learn how to stop doing that to people. Because who are we? We are just human. We're all just the same. We're all the same.
We're all the same.
So we cannot stand in judgment of other people. We don't have the right to do that.
Whether we're rich, poor, dark brown, white, black, cool or indifferent, whatever it is.
Exactly.
God made us all.
Mm-hmm.
He made us all, and He loves us all the same.
Exactly.
We're all the same to Him. We're all just one. We're all one.
Mm-hmm. We're all
He made
one.
us all. He loves us all.
Yeah.
We're all supposed to make it.
Right.
We're all supposed to get to prosper. We all are.
Yeah.
That's what He made. We all are. He made us all to love one another.
Right.
And how you know you love one another when you love someone, when jealousy becomes empathy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know you love someone.
Yeah. 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 You when you say that you love, when you say that you have love in your heart for everyone,
Agape love, God love.
yes.
When you love God, when you love the same love that He has for you, when you have that same love for someone else, and if you can meditate on that, the same love that God has for you, you love someone else with that same love. And if you feel like God loves you, and I know you, I'm His favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like He loves you, and you can love someone else the same way that He loves you, loves me, that's when you know you love. You know you love. Because some people use love as a byword. Hey love, bye love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean that unconditional love is very it's easy to say, like that's a word to say, but the actual
Action
actions behind it is what we're talking about.
Right.
So ultimately, if you can say, you have to self-examine for yourself and say, do I have love for everyone the way that I should be, or the way that was pleasing to God? And we all can say we have our biases. That's life. That's a part of like the human condition as well. But to say that, admit that we have our biases, and go beyond the bias and still love is when it's unconditional love.
Unconditional.
It's godly love. So that's how you know that you have that love towards one another, and that's just it. And I mean, we have love for Chris Rock too.
Yes.
We do, but
unfortunately, it just happened to be Chris Rock.
Right.
I don't have anything against Chris Rock. He just said the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Right.
And that was just that. And that doesn't take away anything. I don't want to take away anything from his, because I believe now his career probably will spark up again.
Oh yeah. For sure.
He's been in the talking. I don't think it's going to take away anything from Will Smith, and it shouldn't take away anything from Will, because Will did not talk about him winning an Oscar. They did talk about it, but it wasn't in. They've also been talking about this.
Right. It's
But
more of this than the fact that he won
the Oscar.
Yeah.
So he's a great in what he does. He's a legend in what he does.
Yes.
And he is amazing at what he does, and not taking anything from him. All respect, he gets the respect that he is due when it comes to his Oscar. And I feel like they should take that away from him.
I heard that they said he resigned from the Academy or something like that.
Yeah.
Which to me is just, I feel like maybe he felt like that was what he should
have done.
But honestly, I feel like this situation to me is a situation that will blow over when the next big story comes out or whatever. Now, will it always be synonymous with him? Yes, unfortunately. But I don't feel like I feel like over time, if he had to just let it go, it would have just blown over. And
I think the only reason why that it happened because of that, given its attention, is because it happened on national TV, on what they feel is the Oscars, and you have to sign all these contracts of that what you won't behave that way. But
Right.
this stuff actually happens in everyday life.
It does.
This is so why we're giving it such a big to do now. Your neighbors is probably having the same situation
absolutely.
going on.
Yeah.
You never know what's going on in the next house.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not saying the neighbors are being violent toward each other. I'm saying, you don't never know what their situation is.
Yeah.
Last night, his wife could have had to defend her husband, or vice versa. The husband had to defend his wife or the children.
Right. Yeah.
So you never know what someone's circumstances are.
Absolutely.
However, we just have to understand that this type of stuff happens every day.
Right.
How we respond to it and react to it, that's of a different horse of a different color.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it comes back to also just. I was just listening to someone say, what is your response, how did they put it, I can't, basically to the extent of like, what's your emotional response to certain things happening in your environment. So if you are confronted with something that's uncomfortable or in that aspect, disrespectful, how are you going to respond to those actions? So that gives everybody, this to me gives everybody an opportunity to kind of look with themselves and say, how would I respond to that action? I mean, what would I do in that particular moment? And would you respond instinctively? Would you take the time and think about it? I mean, you know, like, so yeah, I think that's a good
And
thing.
that's a good point. It's just like, how emotionally intelligent are you? Are you led by your emotions? Are your emotions controlling you? Or are you controlling your emotions? And
Yeah.
that has to become a maturity level to get to that point.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, because everybody's not emotionally intelligent.
Yeah,
You know,
unfortunately, this is true.
so, but like I said, you have people killing each other, and it's people don't even react to it.
Exactly.
So why are we reacting
Yeah.
like to this
So-
this slap?
Yeah, like so shocking. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying that slapping isn't a form of violence, but come on now, like there's no bloodshed.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's not downplaying it in any way.
No,
Wrong
yeah.
is wrong.
wrong is wrong.
And being I'm not gonna call Chris Rock a victim because this is the one. Not that it has to be multiple times for someone to become a victim.
Right.
I'm just saying that, this is just something. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I don't know how to make it sound where it.
Not to take away from his trauma, because
Yes, because he was traumatized.
For somebody to slap you in your face, that's a little
In
traumatic.
public.
In public.
And while you were hosting
Stunning
the
you to death.
Oscar, he was
Like,
shocked when he said Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me.
I mean,
I had
he
to
even
laugh.
had to joke it off and say this makes for
I
great
had to
TV,
laugh.
which is true. But it's
But he was
yeah,
he was a
some
little
trauma
embarrassed
behind
too.
it. Yeah, it's
His feelings
embarrassing.
are hurt too.
Absolutely.
So we're not downplaying
There
that
was
at
two
all.
embarrassments that night.
That
Jada
night.
and
his.
and well, three. Jada, Will, and Chris
His.
Rock. So
Uh-huh.
There's all three. It's very embarrassing.
And then the aftermath, how they feel after everything. Because I know
Yes.
Chris Rock wish he wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I know Jada probably wish she wouldn't have looked at her husband, or she could have protected her husband in a
Right,
different way.
right.
Because it's her duty to protect him as well.
Yeah.
Because she could have stopped him from, it's okay, baby, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I understand you mad, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll deal with this after the show.
Right.
Off of camera.
Right.
There's a way, everybody could have done something different.
Yeah.
So,
Everyone could have done something different. And I feel like sometimes it's like I said earlier, we don't know how fast he was moving and how fast the interaction took place. So it's hard to say if she could have got him in time.
Grabbed him, yeah.
Grabbed him in time. Because like I said, I've been there before and trying to catch somebody before they go there. Sometimes that's just really hard to do. And so if that's the case, if there was ample time and she could have pulled him back a little bit, because being a wife, you have to think about those things. Like, I'm quite sure it's embarrassing for her, it's embarrassing for her family, and it's embarrassing for her husband. So I mean, I can't imagine any spouse not wanting to stop their husband
Yeah.
from doing something that would affect the whole family.
that affect the whole family, right? So she feel like she has some regrets of,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and Chris, like I said, he had to make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
And I know he wanted to grab his face and rub, because I know it's.
Yeah, that was
He wanted to. That sting hurt.
that's
slap
That
hurt.
was like, wow.
Especially when
Slap
he
hurt.
wasn't expecting it came from no.
Exactly. Yeah, that was. I can't even imagine it being in his position, thinking,
Yes.
why is he coming up here? And then all of a sudden, boom.
Boom.
Yeah, that's very stunned, shocked, and amazed. So, I'll give credit where credit is due. Credit to Chris Rock for maintaining his composure
yes.
and continuing on with the show.
With dignity.
Yes.
Because
So-
he did a hell of a job of that.
Yeah,
Didn't
that-
come back out, but he did.
Yes.
While he was out there, he did.
Yes,
He did.
He did. So
that up.
that's
Good job.
credit to where credit is due, and I'm not taking away from him in any way in that matter. But again, it just goes back down to the top. The topic for today is how well are you protected as women. I'm just gonna say, for me, I want you to protect me in all capacities. If you are with me, if I'm your wife, if I'm your girl, if I'm, you
If
know,
I'm dating you,
if
or
I'm
if
dating
we're in a
yes,
relationship,
if I'm in a
any
relationship
kind.
with you, I want you to protect me. I want you to protect me physically. I want you to protect me emotionally
And
and spiritually and mentally.
And-
So
and- but-
I want all of that,
yeah.
and I'm gonna do the same for you.
And when you're with the right person,
Hmm.
you don't even have to ask that.
No, not at all.
You don't even have that comes without.
Yeah, it comes without saying. It just is. It's
Mm-hmm.
known, or it should be known.
Mhm.
But you know, it's a situation where we, as Black women, for too long, I feel in society, have not been protected, and
We've had to be the protectors of ourselves.
right, and
And-
I think that's starting to change a little bit. But it's very important, you know, and I know that some men feel like, well, y'all feel like y'all can do everything. Well, we can't do everything. you
And
know.
we don't feel like we can do everything.
Mm-mm.
We've been in the position where we've been forced to try to do everything.
Everything, yeah.
So we're constantly making attempts, but that doesn't mean that we're always successful
Absolutely.
at doing that. So a lot of times we are putting on our capes
Mhm.
and going at it.
Superwoman
We're just
capes.
we're doing the best we can
Yeah,
with the limited knowledge that we have,
yeah.
you know,
Putting it on our superwoman capes.
and the limited strength that we
Right.
have.
And
because
that's tiring.
it
oh
is
my God,
tiring.
it's so tiring.
It is.
So tiring to have to put on your cape to just move through life. I want to do that. I don't want to have to put my cape on. I want you to, be my hero. Shoot, that's what I want. So,
And if with the right person, like I said, the way God loves you, He will send your mate to you to love you through that person. And anything that you need, and all your needs would be met because it's through God. It's God doing it through them.
Right.
And so you're not gonna have to tell God how to, because He knows what your needs are.
Of course.
He's not gonna tell you're not gonna have to tell God how to love you because He
Right.
He created you.
Of
He knows
course.
how to love you.
Yeah.
And you're
He
Him.
does love you. Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
Him. You're a
Yeah.
reflection of Him.
Right.
So He's
He
just
already
loving
loves you.
Himself.
Yeah.
He's just loving Himself through another person.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all connected. So
Yeah, we're all connected.
yeah,
So yeah, that's my feelings about it, and
I've already said my feelings.
Yeah.
Haven't I more than
yeah, we both said it.
Did I not say you have?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
We both
So,
did.
yeah.
So anyhow, so thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. We've been absent again. We're doing better. We're getting there.
We're on the schedule now,
We're
so
good.
look for us. Before I say that, remember to forgive yourself. And that's another thing I want to say about Will and Jada and even Chris. All the emotions that they're feeling because they're feeling that they're going, it's natural. You're going to feel the guilt. I just hope that they forgive themselves.
Oh yeah.
You forgive yourself. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Genuinely love someone else like God loves you.
Right. Exactly.
Be the vessel.
Right.
Surrender
And if you
and
don't
be
know
the
what that
vessel.
looks like, then you have to connect to God to know what that feels like.
Connect with God to know what that feels like. Start the relationship with Him.
Yeah.
Have a relationship you'll have a relationship. Develop a relationship with Him.
Exactly.
Love yourself. Forgive yourself.
Yes. Definitely. And we love you all, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.
Right.
Make sure you tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends to tell their friends to tell their friends
Hit
to
the
tell
share
their
button.
friends
Hit the
to
share
tell
button.
their friends.
When you share it, then everybody can join in.
Yes.
So definitely share. So we
Make sure you
appreciate
should
that.
help us out by sharing.
Definitely.
You know.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.